laner sOAZ.
Ah, yeah, the new guy, right? He's a rookie.
Yeah, to replace All-Star Weepo. Now, bans come out. Sion, we're not going to see him. We saw him in the hands of Perks last game. Highly effective. Camille also taken away from the likes of Vizicsacsi. Olaf follows, so no crazy bans coming out here.
Interesting with the Olaf ban. Didn't really like Pride's performance on it, but Fnatic are still saying there's a chance he can snowball early game with it. Let's just remove it instantly.
Yeah, both of the Predator jungles taken off the board.
Here's the thing though, if Caitlyn's left open, most teams will just first pick Caitlyn. If you have Rekkles and also Hylissang will play Morgana, that combination is potentially very deadly on the side of Fnatic. Sejuani is also here with 2 jungle bans, but Zac can be matched on the other side. It is Rekkles, so I guess Tristana it is.
Rekkles, Tristana, OP. We hear it from just about every pro player we talk to.
And this is the only team where I'm like, fine, you get to first pick Tristana.
Ezreal now the follow-up comes in for upset. We know positive lane matchup early on against these crit champions, but definitely not a hyper carry.
I definitely expected Caitlyn to be the choice. Almost no teams in Europe have successfully utilized Ezreal to carry on the 2-item spike. Now Schalke will be very strong there. We already see double mobility on their side. Can they actually do it? Because Rekkles late game on Tristana, ask any pro in Europe, they're like, yeah, no, game is over.
Don't let him get to late game. Well, now we have that stake set for our viewers. Do not let Rekkles get to late game. Interesting, though.
Quote every pro player in Europe.
Sejuani, Braum locked in. Got the 4-stack duo. Opposite side. Might see Taric come in. We do actually have it locked in now for Vander. Taric, Ezreal, not a lane we see too frequently, but a great delivery system for that Taric stun in the form of Pride on this Kha'Zix. And I like Pride on this Kha'Zix. This is one of the few champions in last few weeks where we've seen him be really, really proactive.
I want to see what Schalke can do in the bottom lane with Ezreal Taric, because this is a very like non-traditional European bot lane setup that teams like to go for in earlier stages. Like again, with Caitlyn being available, you would normally look at that, or Tom Kench for a lot of teams. But in this case here, they were specifically looking for the Taric against the Braum. And then they have this Ezreal, which if they can really play around the 2-item spike, can be so deadly. It works extremely well against Infinity Edge AD carries because they need 3 items to really start taking over team fights. And that is where there will be a big window for Schalke to utilize. Cannot afford to fall behind early, and that's been a problem in some of the games.
Absolutely not, and of course a lot of pressure on that Ezreal lane. It's all about landing those Mystic shots if you really want to find a lane advantage. So it requires Upset to outplay Rekkles to a certain degree, but Ryze taken off the board, Ornn and Cho'Gath follow as Schalke set up for a top lane pit.
A lot of tank bans. Good old Chachi does love to play Maokai. I'm sure he's the one begging the coach to pick him the Maokai every time. Same thing for sOAZ over there, so might be the contested tank between them. Do you want to highlight that Swain is still available and has become one of the go-to blind picks for top lane? And then you can still last pick for your mid laner on red side if you are Schalke against Caps specifically.
Pretty good synergy with the Taric as well, if they want to go for it.
So here it is.
But Azir locked in for NukeDuck. Hyper carry champion in his hands if it's not going to be in the hands of Upset.
And here normally we have been seeing a lot of Corki coming in from Caps to just kind of match a lot of scaling and then see if he can carry in the late game against this. But there's still like Talia, there's still Aurelion Soul for him if they want to play more aggressive around roaming Mitch, which has been fairly successful for Fnatic.
So
okay, was buffed a lot.
All right, this got a lot of very interesting damage changes coming in on the Paddle Star.
I feel like
final pick.
This is still Fnatic with a bit of freedom to test some of the different picks without by any means like trolling in the game, but Caps will get that Zoe's interesting surprise. Swain was the one we mentioned before as the best available blind pick in this case. If Chachi locks in Maokai, it's gonna be like sOAZ kind of getting a bit of a free lane for himself, but the Maokai scaling is still fantastic, and having that tank in late game fights is great.
And Vizicsacsi has been rock solid in the top lane as an option for this team on tankier picks. They hovered it. Will they lock it in? What's the option? Looks like it will be the Maokai coming through. So sOAZ will get that free lane, that safe scaling, and now it's all on Vizicsacsi in the mid to late game to bring it home in terms of team fight impact. But Deficio, I mean, Zoe's back, man. I thought she was dead. I thought she was gone. Dash and Mark and whatever, and then they hit a box representing how dead and gone she was.
But that was last patch.
Now she's back, man.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit more attack range coming back for her here. main change is around the Q specifically, less AoE damage and also less one-shot potential. Doesn't instantly apply that extra burst coming in from her passive as well. And it's a little bit more around like still creating picks with Zoe, because while you can cleanse the bubble because of some of the previous nerfs a lot easier, it's probably only one member running that. There is still a lot of pick potential when you play with Zoe, especially around the jungle with the different walls. The poke damage is still high without it being pure one-shot. I want to see how Caps plays it. It is, of course, the most surprising pick in this specific draft. Schalke trying to run a super strong team fight, trying to utilize Upset on 2 items to punish an Infinity Edge AD carry on the side of Rekkles.
We've talked about European teams struggling to execute on those item spikes. Maybe Schalke can change it up, and they're up against a titanic opponent in Fnatic. Will they do it here? Can they find it? It's going to be absolutely huge. Fnatic. Schalke fan with a big old flag. That's important.
That's how you win the fan war.
Good job.
You bring a giant flag.
Good pose, too.
They just bring their hands to clap. Your flag definitely wins.
It's true. We've seen. Flags are very important in EU. We've seen our finals.
We like to have oversized flags in our finals.
Those were actually so hard to carry that like we had to have super buff dudes carry them. Like other people could not have carried them. They were accidentally way too big.
Well, we had Roma leading the charge for Unicorns of Love there. Of course, he's no longer with us here in Europe. Gone over to North America, so he will not be carrying the big flag.
We have a nice Schalke guy in the audience. Maybe he can do it. Maybe he's super swole.
I feel like his flag is a little bit smaller in this case.
True. True. Well, now, Schalke sitting at 7-10. Can force the tiebreaker with Roccat if they win here. Fnatic locked in first place. Not a lot on the line for them, but they can crush some dreams today.
And Caps can show us if Zoe will really make a return here on 8.5. I want to see how he plays it. Again, a little bit less one-shot potential with the Q, but got some additional range back for herself.
We have to remember the scaling is up too, so in a world where he is able to get 4 or 5 items under his belt, it will still be that terrifying one-shot, just not as much in the early game.
Exactly. So, Schalke starting bottom side with Pride. Fnatic doing the same with Broxah. Both members going to path towards the top side.
And it's interesting, Deficio, as we see the junglers take their start. I do want to shift attention back to the mid lane because we have to remember what happened last time these two teams faced each other. Because it may not have been a Zoe. It was a Corki, if I remember correctly. But look at that damage percentage, folks. That's 50. This is a 5-person game.
Yeah.
He did half of his team's damage.
That was the game where the year of NukeDuck's storyline kind of died. Because NukeDuck walked into Caps twice in the laning phase and basically gifted him 2 kills. Schalke lost that game. It was a tough loss for them, but funny enough, it was upset in the late game when got caught out by Poke and died. So, this Schalke in the last few weeks have not made those mistakes. We have not seen NukeDuck randomly die in lane. We have not seen Upset getting caught out in fight. So that is definitely a change, an upgrade for Schalke. And they need both those carries to perform at the absolute top level if they're going to beat Caps and Rekkles on the side of Fnatic.
A lot of pressure on both those guys. 2 sources of damage for this team. Pride as well, though. Potentially something that can work well. We've seen brief moments of just supreme confidence coming in from Pride when he went in, leapt in, and solo killed Parks in the mid lane. We've also seen him play incredibly passive. I want to see which side of Pride we're going to see this time. And where Fnatic are going to try to set up early on.
Caps will get an early back on his side. Brought TP to the lane. Can obviously use it straight back. NukeDuck will have to try and just accept the fact he's going to be sighted behind the items, and will have to try and push out the lane and then go back for himself without losing too much.
Interesting for Caps, though. Just going to go for the Amp Tome. Bit of extra early AP.
I just want to see also how proactive he's going to be with someone like Broxah, because again, if you are fighting near walls, the extended range is still fantastic. The pick potential is still there with Zoe. She's less annoying to deal with, but you still have to respect that part. So if he's able to consistently leave his lane and actually go top lane with the Swain, because we talked about this in champs, like Maokai accepts that he's going to get pushed under his turret. Like Swain against tanks, the Swain pushes, and then you eventually wait until you start scaling as a tank, or you wait till they try and tower dive you. In this case, Jachi wants to take the fight.
Still going to be aggressive. Playing around the cooldown. on the keystone there. Aftershock lets him kind of come out on top in these trades.
Also, look what he's doing here. Biscuits on his side, plus Corruption Potion. So additional sustain, plus a little bit more for his all-in. Activate the Corruption Potion when he jumps in, takes a trade against sOAZ. Tries to simply out-sustain the Swain instead of trying to necessarily kill him.
Difficult, potentially something he can do, though, because, of course, Swain wants to connect the snare to then get a soul fragment to try to heal up. That's really the only source of sustain before the ultimate.
sOAZ also knows that his jungler's bottom side can't help him at all. Enemy jungler could be top lane, and the thing about Maokai that's so effective still. He didn't need that jump. There was no Raptors to kill anyway.
Guys, he's just getting it out now, you know? If he's like, I'm going to have one bad jump this game, let it be this one.
It's called warming up before a big game.
Yeah.
And you got to respect that. Got to do some jumps. Next one's going to be big for him.
And the question is, Deficio, is this a game that begins at level 6? Is it one of these ones where we kind of expect both teams to wait?
I feel like most Kha'Zix games typically is, I really want to farm for level 6, get my ulti so I can really start ganking and utilize the brushes. Caps and NukeDuck going at it in the mid lane. So far, NukeDuck
NukeDuck's
doing more than fine.
Caps. Caps is hitting the minions. You can see how that's working out. Surprise Battlestar, though, even to the trade. And of course, this is interesting. Deficio, one of my favorite things about watching Rekkles play Tristana is that he just doesn't believe in building attack damage early. You can see triple dagger now coming in for him. Upset, though, going to have to be careful because Hylissang and Broxah are here. So with a slight advantage in the early lane, gets the tier. Oh, Vander. Oh, no. Yeah, there's Chain CC looking for a little bit more. 4 stacks, 1 stun, 4 stacks, 2 stuns. Is it going to be a kill? Vander burned down, first blood. Broxah gonna grab that one.
He did. Bottom side, Broxah finds the opening. Good kill for them. sOAZ with the all-in. Oh, hits it.
Managed to get the snare. It's going to be a lot of immediate damage if he can reactivate the ultimate. Flash forward, flash out. That's disastrous. He totally could have had the kill if he didn't just fumble in that moment.
Oh, Pride is here now. See if he can punish sOAZ, but still a lot of HP on the Swain, and he's fine. Walking straight back, knowing that once again that his jungle is on bottom side. So sOAZ is playing it fairly smart, despite not getting that kill for himself. And Rekkles now with that kill onto Vander. Instead of it being upset, getting a tier, free farming, gets a Sheen next time, it's gonna be now Rekkles getting a bunch of damage on the bot lane turret with his triple dagger. Always love to rush tier 2 boots as fast as possible.
We talked to Freeze about this on the desk, and he says it's really irritating because he hits you constantly, but he doesn't do any damage. So it's just, you're not actually scared, but it's really obnoxious because every time you step forward, he autos you twice and then backs away. Little 40 damage auto attacks do eventually start to hurt. You see things going on a Rekkles. They know he's backing off, so they're going to try to pressure him on bottom side. Pride yet to hit that level 6 point that we are waiting for. Both of the solo laners on each side have. In terms of engage potential, we've seen what Broxah can do without the ultimate. May look to rinse and repeat. He's about to lock in the level 6. And of course, tiebreakers and PGL. Remember, folks, we are swapping channels. If you're on YouTube, stay where you're at. You're good. You're good to go. If you're on Twitch, twitch.tv/EULC.
Yeah, just swap over now. It's the same game. Sadly for you, you do not get new casters. We don't have like Trevor and Betty sitting over there in the other one. So you have to stay with us as the casters. But it's the same game also being played, just on a different stream. That's called EULCS.
It's okay, man.
Therefore, it is a superior stream.
Much. Oh, it's true.
Yeah, the EULCS stream, of course, is the way you want to be.
Shinier.
Because if you want to watch the tiebreaker games, and I definitely recommend watching the tiebreaker games, the Splice vs. G2 one has the potential to be one of the best and biggest tiebreaker games we've had in the EULCS regular season. You do not want to miss it.
Absolutely agree. Caps picks up a redemption. Deals some damage to the minions, not interested in using it on himself. And as we check back in on the game, you can see this laning phase getting a little bit worse for Vizicsacsi as time goes on.
But he's a Maokai. A lot of sustain.
But he's winning in CS by actually a huge margin.
He's doing well at the moment. The fact that Vizicsacsi has not been like ganked and shut down or anything is perfect. Like, the Maokai pick he just really brings a lot of MR early and he can get sustained.
And this is kind of what we knew Vizicsacsi for in the Unicorns of Love days. No matter what you put him on, you leave him alone and he survives. He doesn't always win lane. Sometimes he does, but he never does poorly in the early laning phase.
Unless the enemy jungler shows up 3 times.
That has happened. That is true.
And he will at least grant 1 kill to the enemy team.
Hasn't happened this game
yet.
Not
this game. Okay, Fnatic bottom side. So far, Zoe has not been able to do anything specifically, but Fnatic's bot lane now took a turret.
Nice little gold boon for this team. Pride is in the jungle, wants to go in on a Rekkles. Wrong way on the stun, though. Rekkles is going to leap right out. Ulti comes in for the disengage. Broxah is there as the team backs out. NukeDuck's there on the side.
Oh, that miss. Pretty big here from Vander. They are trying to disengage after killing bot lane turret for Fnatic, and they do make it out to safety.
Now sOAZ wants to go in for the 1v1 one more time. Vizicsacsi going to get hit by the Vision of Empire. Wants to back off, but enough MR to deny any of the early Swain damage. Does get the pressure in the lane. Everything's going good right now for Fnatic.
Could have been punished in the bottom lane. Upset is sitting there. He got his tears, got his sheen, but the problem for him is he's already lost his bot lane turret. This Ezreal pick, they locked in so early. Bob takes like Caitlyn in this case here, because Vander died to that first game. Rekkles and Hylissang were able to apply a ton of pressure, get down early turrets for themselves. They now get to go back. They can push out bot lane while Schalke are back in base, eventually move in, set up a Drake, or just get a big tempo advantage if they do swap to the other lane after pushing out bot lane.
In Deficio, we talked about Vander being kind of the leader for this team, wanting to step up and be that leader in these high pressure scenarios, but unfortunately it's been a bit of a liability. The only member to die, misses the stun on the Rekkles, which may have guaranteed a kill, so want to see him kind of clean up the play a little bit as we move further into the game, because can't really afford to fall too much further behind.
It's good for Schalke, though, that NukeDuck is on a champion that got again nerfed in the early game in Azir. Doesn't matter, because Zoe in this case is far from as strong as he used to be. Caps has not been able to really like do anything to shut down NukeDuck, so it's just a ton of free farm on the Azir. No early kills for Caps specifically, and NukeDuck will be that late game threat that Schalke needs against Fnatic. We're still getting started by Pride. Again, Chachi's doing more than fine top lane, ton of early MR. Fnatic are trying to make a play bot.
Have Broxah here for the setup. Could potentially look for the dive. Vander's still level 5. 2 levels down, no ultimate available. This is not good for the side of Schalke. They cannot comfortably approach the tower without that Torrent ult.
It is not often you can push for the second tower. Let's see.
Level 6 comes in, immediately going to try to use the ultimate, but Upset could be in trouble. Flash out, just not able to make it. There's the stun. Does manage to cleanse and tries to walk away, but the chain CC is too much. The point, the click, Rekkles leaps in. He's going to leap right back out in a moment, gets the reset, walks it home, double for Rekkles.
So again, it is so rare a team will instantly push for the tier 2 turret in the bottom lane. Schalke were investing everything topside with Pride. I'm not sure if they thought Fnatic would just push it in and then go for Drake, but the fact that Broxah shows up, they land the ulti. Look at this here. It's an Ezreal with flash ready, and Broxah fires a long-range ult. That is not allowed to hit if you want to beat Fnatic, because it allows Fnatic to then go for the tower dive. They get 2 kills. They get the turret. They don't care about Pride now taking the Rift Herald. You Ezreal, you have a blink, you have a flash. You cannot get hit by that ult.
Now they're trying to shut down sOAZ, though. Demonic Ascension is there. Pride is there to deal enough damage. Can he make it out? They're trying to buy time. Pride going to fire back, get something for Schalke. Deficio, that's a good start, but they need to get a lot more fast. Ezreal, no completed Muramana, no completed Trinity Force. Rekkles on the road to 2 items.
Yeah, you're not even going to get your 2-item advantage at the moment with your AD carry. The enemy AD carry is already fed. And it's Rekkles on Tristana. So Fnatic have found a lot of success just playing bottom side. But credit to Fnatic for doing it well, but criticism to the bottom lane of Schalke for just having a bunch of misplays that's costing their team. NukeDuck is doing his job. Chachi is winning his lane. The solo laners are being let down right now.
And now they've swapped, trying to get a bit of a tempo advantage. Vander and Upset are there. Rekkles already closer to the tower. Pride committed to the top side. Fnatic don't have a ton of vision in the jungle, but may still feel comfortable enough to push forward.
They're pushing bot lane again. Like, there is no objective for them to kill at the moment bot, if you're Fnatic. There's no, I refuse to believe they can actually get an inhib turret.
I see Broxah moving.
This early on.
I see Fnatic ready to
they're
commit
pushing
to
it in.
this play.
They're giving up top side at the moment. Can they roam mid maybe and try and get mid lane turret for this? Like, Pride's Rift Herald is still there if they want to go for more. Now Rekkles has to just back away. I don't fully agree with them going bot lane and trying to push even further.
Slow. Caps could heal to make it out. The nice movement speed. NukeDuck has to flash to safety. In comes the Paddle Star. Needs to get out of the way. Is going to make it. Caps looks for a little bit more, but Pride is here. Not going to be able to body block. Has to run away.
Why is NukeDuck trying to fight mid when he's just seen them leave bot lane? Caps mind games. Literally just baits NukeDuck into diving in for him, and of course Hylissang. They just saw them push bot lane, leave the bot lane. Like, where could they be? Mid or base? That's it. Don't go for that all in. Anyway.
Now Vizicsacsi's in trouble as he runs for his life. Deficio, this is not what Schalke wanted. We talked about how they needed to play immaculately. They're against Fnatic. They're against the first place team. Everything is on the line. Their control of their destiny is in their hands when it comes to forcing that tiebreaker.
And twice now, Fnatic have continued to push bot lane and found success both times. They have left the bot lane, guys. They can only be either mid or base. And NukeDuck dives in, thinking he can knock Caps into the turret because there's no flash on Zoe. But everything completely backfires. He has to run away. Hylissang shows up. More members show up to kill the turret. And Fnatic's plan of just pushing bot lane has now netted them multiple turrets, multiple kills.
sOAZ, though, now looking to get a little bit more. Demonic Ascension comes out. Pride getting the resets on the passive. It's just going to burn him down. So sOAZ dies yet again. This substitute top laner, man, really struggling.
It's the most classic Fnatic setup. Leave sOAZ alone, play around bot lane, get a big advantage bot, sOAZ dies top. Less effective if you're playing Swain compared to a tank top laner for sOAZ.
And I think we have to praise one thing that is good for Schalke is that Vizicsacsi is winning his lane. You brought it up before, we should bring it up again. This is not a lane match I think you're expected to do incredibly well in, and Vizicsacsi is defying expectations here.
So despite being down in gold, we're still looking at what Schalke can do. They've gotten 2 kills on Pride. We've seen Kha'Zix take over games if the enemy team keeps splitting up. If the enemy teams are playing a little bit uncoordinated, Kha'Zix will find openings either in the side lane to assassinate someone or just when a team fight starts. Fnatic like to always keep Hylissang with Rekkles, making it harder for Pride to at least assassinate the Tristana, which by the way is extremely fed, almost on 2 items. We're not even 20 minutes into the game. That's going to be a problem. Meanwhile, on Schalke's side, NukeDuck was ahead in farm until he made that play mid. He got punished for it, he lost his mid turret, so that is now making mid lane a lot harder, and Caps can start roaming on the Zoe. That means top lane is where Fnatic can play now, and Schalke will always be in a disadvantage on that side because of the AD carries.
The mid game 2 for Zoe looks good.
Pride is looking for these kills though. I like this from him.
Trying to shut down sOAZ. Rinse and repeat on these ganks. Kitty Cats are going to connect. No Demonic Ascension available yet. We'll be able to pull him in. Trying to find the 1-for-1. Does get taken down, but Rekkles now looking for the follow-up on the top side. Vander could be next. Are they going to cut him down before the ulti connects? Does not look like it. Just on the edge of death. Will burn down in the end as Rekkles on a killing spree.
Same setup again. Pride knows he can get free kills bot lane, so he's going there. Meanwhile, Fnatic knows they are way stronger top lane, so they will immediately make a play on that side. That's another turret being traded between them. Schalke are trying their best to hold on, but everything is around the Kha'Zix and the Maokai, and not their carries in Azir and Ezreal.
Difficult game for Upset and NukeDuck. Vander with a few missteps. Upset losing a lane behind on the item spikes. Trinity Force comes in. At the same time, Static Shift comes in for Rekkles. Even with the Kleptomancy, not able to keep up. But Schalke, at least they have this going.
Yep, they can keep killing sOAZ, and as we said before, when you're a tank and you die multiple times, you're still a tank in team fights. Swain, can't say the same for him. Like, yes, he will try and be like a bruiser, especially with his ult activated, but if he is far behind, damage is not going to be great for him. He will go down a lot faster. So it's going to be harder for sOAZ to have an impact, but this is still something we've seen multiple times, where now, 17, almost 18 minutes into the game, there is Infinity Edge and Static Shift on Tristana.
And one thing I just have to point out about the last play, Deficio. Oh, we're going to have to hold that talk.
There's 200 CS on him as well.
Rekkles is just going to walk it out. Pride looking for the kill onto Caps. Does leap in. They are going to grab Hylissang in the end. Schalke gets something back. Pride actually on a rampage here. Big carry performance coming in.
Very good for Pride. Big game for him to step up. Reminder, if Schalke wins, they force a tiebreaker with Rocket for that last playoff spot. Schalke lose, they're out of playoffs, and Rocket will get it.
So much on the line in this game. Potentially 2 spots left to be decided. 2 spots left to be decided. And Deficio, this is good from Schalke that they're able to fight back. But Broxah now chasing for this kill. Vizicsacsi's been playing so well, but now going to get caught out. Not something Schalke can afford. He's trying to buy a bit of time. He's trying to let the lead of his team come in. But
sOAZ didn't even get an assist. He tried.
0-3-0.
He didn't hit anything, so he didn't get the assist.
It's a conspiracy to make him look bad, guys, I swear. Not able to grab it. Rekkles is going to grab the Cloud Drake. 2 Drakes come in for Fnatic. 4K gold lead Deficio. Rekkles Tristana, unbeatable in the late game. GG go next, I think is the pro player wording we hear so frequently. This would be insane for Schalke to come back.
Schalke gambled in the draft when they went Ezreal Taric and said, that's what we want to play with here. We want to punish the Infinity Edge AD carry. We want to get 2 items before them. We want to play around that. This Ezreal's been behind all game long. There's 216 CS on the enemy AD carry. Not even 20 minutes in. It's absolutely insane how fed he is. And now, if you're Schalke, your one way to kill him is Pride. Hope that Rekkles will be out of position and Pride can assassinate him.
It's difficult because Tristana has the self-peel. She has the buster shot to push him back.
The thing is, if Pride is using his stealth very effectively, it can be hard to peel off a Kha'Zix. Because he jumps in, gets instant burst ults before Rekkles maybe gets to do something, and then he can go for another shot.
Stealth cancel the animation.
It does rely on Rekkles again, kind of being on his own without the team around him.
The concern, however, is I look across the Schalke lineup. I don't see a lot of magic resist outside of Vizicsacsi, and I see a Death Cap and a Luden's Echo in the hands of Caps. 20 minutes into the game.
Still going to be a lot of poke damage for sure. Fnatic, they know. As long as they're protecting the AD carry, they will win the fights. Vizicsacsi and the rest of Schalke, they have the 2 items on upset now. They have Pride, of course, with 4 kills, so he is fed. But it's hard for a Kha'Zix to carry in team fights. So they kind of rely still on using 2 items on Ezreal before it's almost too late against this Tristana. This might be the moment for Schalke to try and get a fight to get back in the game. But their mid laner also, of course, is far behind because there is just a Nash's Tooth. And
we've seen Schalke struggle to be the team to initiate these proactive plays when in the early to mid game. Big ask from the team as a whole to try to capitalize on this 2-item power spike, but I think you're right that it's options are running out. They need to find something here.
Because we know that Tristana with the crit build gets stronger and stronger and stronger. We know it gets harder and harder for Ezreal to carry fights.
And remember, Zoe was nerfed, but I just checked her paddle star damage. If they hit the max range, it still does 1,000 damage to Deficio.
See how much HP there is on the enemy AD carry. Right now, 1,500. So, will not fully one-shot.
If the Sleepy Trouble Bubble hits, it definitely will.
Then it will one-shot.
And then you're going to be standing there as Vander, using that ultimate, wondering, why did you pick Taric against Zoe? And that's going to be a bad feeling. So they need to make sure that they do not let Caps get these free hits into the back line. They have good news, Vizicsacsi to body block, if they can get the setup. But
sacrifice the tank.
3 of 5 members are incredibly squishy on the Schalke lineup.
All right, let's look for Pride constantly. I'm really just looking specifically at him and what he's able to do. He's sneaking in now, regrets his decision, sneaks out.
So close to that stun actually connecting. Little does Caps know, but the portal jump may have just actually saved his life.
It's again what we look for, because we have to remember, Taric's stun applied onto the Kha'Zix and Taric ulti applied onto the Kha'Zix could buy enough time for Pride to get a full round of his damage and stay alive. Because normally Kha'Zix goes in and then you can just kind of jump him instantly, but Fnatic, they're just starting Baron.
This is the moment of truth. Fnatic know that they have the advantage. They say, we want to force this out. Can they get anything more? Pride is let back. He's been asleep. Not going to connect on the paddle star. They are going to secure the Baron on the side of Fnatic. But Vizicsacsi goes over the wall. Does use the cast. Immediately leads to the team. Demonic Ascension. Rekkles untouched on the backside. Now looking for the reset. Tar going to try to buy a bit of time with the Radiance. May not be enough, however. sOAZ there to zone the team away from Rekkles. NukeDuck going to go down. They look for the reset. Pride now running for his life. What can he do? Tries to back off. Rest of the team running. Visions of Empire to try to stop Upset in his tracks. Caps picks up a flash. Flash to follow. Portal jump forward. Looks for the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Does not connect. There's the paddle star. Will not find it, but Fnatic in absolute control.
Fnatic, they know. They have a super fade AD carry. Just start the Baron as 5. Worst case, you get a team fight, and you should win that anyway. Schalke could not react in time. Pride was forced away from the Baron pit. Fnatic will get mid in it. They are almost 10,000 gold ahead in this game.
Drowsy Upset has to make his way out. 10k gold lead Deficio.
And at the moment, Rekkles, 12,000 gold on the AD carry, 8,000 on the enemy AD carry. Insane
with Klepto. He has Klepto. He has extra gold generation.
Gotta hit people. Not been possible for him. And Vizicsacsi comes in, tries to join the fight, and they can't apply anything to actually help him. They lose the Baron, lose the team fight. Schalke are in a tough spot. They're
so far behind, and Broxah, you can see, is so tanky that even with the 2.5 seconds where NukeDuck gets to free hit the tank line, it doesn't do anything. He has flat magic pen. He doesn't have any kind of percentage reduction.
Trying to get Morello. Pride trying again.
Good damage on the Caps. Will force the flash out, the actual one, not a spell thief, so that is a small edge to Schalke in that regard. However, Rekkles, old habits die hard. In the side lane, ready to push this in, ready to threaten Schalke. 5-0-2 score for Rekkles Deficio. There is no mercy here. Fnatic reminder, first place, they've locked it. They are playing here to crush Schalke's hopes, to remind people that they are #1 in the EU LCS, to show that they have earned that bye spot. They are putting on a masterclass at the moment.
NukeDuck trying to get Morello so he can use it against the Swain here, but he's been set behind. The AD carry's been set behind. Feels like they don't have the damage just yet. They need Pride to find the pick, but he's behind Fnatic at the moment. And Fnatic can just stay as 5, and they should be able to prevent Pride from carrying this game. He's trying his best. Gotta give credit to the young jungler. But it's just such a tough situation to be in.
And that is the second paddle star in a row where it has just been on the edge of the hitbox and not quite connected. There was one on the Pride, which would have surely killed him. There's another one on the upset, which almost would have killed him there. So they're playing on the edge here on the side of Schalke. Tower going to drop. Broxah's going to look for the follow-up. Does connect on the Vander. NukeDuck now in trouble. Is he going to get taken down? Do they have enough time to buy? He's not going to be immune. Just setting their sights on the inhibitor instead. Fnatic cut that one down. Hylissang actually going to flash forward, looking for some kind of engage. We're not going to catch it on screen, but it's not going to connect, so it doesn't matter. Fnatic pushing for the win right at this moment, Deficio.
Oh, one turret going down. All of Schalke is still here to try and fight back, but there's a bunch of minions they're dealing with.
Have to do what they can. Caps fearlessly pushing forward. Does manage to get rooted. Leap in for Pride. He wants a little bit more. Tries to make it out with the stealth. Can he get it in? Not enough. Shut down from Hylissang. The bloodthirsty support. Fnatic eyes on the Nexus. They say, Rockcat, this one's for you. Enjoy your 6th place. As they back off to give Rekkles another kill. This is your first place team, Europe. This is your reminder why.
And this knocks Schalke out of playoff. They had to win this game to force a tiebreaker. They lost against Fnatic. Yesterday they lost against H2K. And that's why they do not make top 6. Congratulations to Rocket and H2K for locking playoffs. We have one tiebreaker left. It is G2
second place,
versus Splice for that 2nd place. It cannot be more hype.
And just bittersweet for Schalke. You know, a rough season, but just Fnatic, clear #1 team. This is G2 in the last 2 years, levels of dominance in the regular season.
Yes, first pick Tristana, A-OK if you are Fnatic. Rare I've seen an AD carry be like 4,000 gold ahead around 20 minutes. On the side of Schalke, I gotta say it, and it's been the case all split long, they do not do themselves any favors in the game. And it just keeps costing them so much. Pride tried his hardest with Vizicsacsi to carry this game. Sadly, if you're losing all the other lanes, it's not enough for them. That's the end of it for Schalke. They'll have to look towards the summer split. Definitely not what we expected from this lineup, from this organization. But that is the case now.
1-year plan. See how it works out. And Deficio, oh man, playoffs all but locked at this stage. 5th and 6th locked in. I thought that would be the giant tiebreaker. I thought there'd be like a million games. Not gonna happen.
Very, very true. So, as we said before here, next game, Splice versus G2 tiebreaker.
Twitch.tv/EULCS.
Yes.
Tune in. If you're on YouTube, stay where you're
Stay
at.
there.
You're doing fine. Enjoy your preferred platform.
Do not miss these games here. Might be perfect timing before anything happens over in North America. We can actually get Splice and G2 started. And it's going to be a pretty cool Saturday. Watch a lot of exciting League of Legends. You know, first in LCK, then boom, you can tune in for some EU LCS. And then as soon as that is done, you can go to NALCS. And then if you're not tired of it, you can watch the rebroadcast of the EU LCS.
You're not allowed to stop.
You actually never stop watching.
30 hours of League of Legends. We'll get Medic up here. He'll prescribe it to you. He's a doctor. You have to watch it all.
That's how it is.
There's a lot of games. I mean, there's a lot of hype. So many tiebreaker scenarios. We only have one in the end. And, of course, it's not a 5th or 6th one. And the battle for 2nd is so crucial. It's the battle for you win essentially a best of 5 by winning a best of 1.
Yes. And also, you get to be on the other side of the bracket of someone like Fnatic, which is also a very nice thing for yourself. Now, Splice have been waiting since game 1. They played the first game of the day. They've been sitting and watching these games. They obviously knew after Vitality lost to G2, they had to play, so they had a bit of time to mentally get ready. But that's still tough, like when you've been playing so many hours ago. Now you got to refocus instantly for this one last game.
That's a lot of pressure on both the lineups that actually have to play in that. G2 as well, coming in, winning that close game in the end. As I said already, we're only going to have one tiebreaker game tonight between G2 and Splyce, with the winner securing the 2nd seed. This game will be played on twitch.tv/EULCS.
Well, there now, you got time.
Exactly. For those of you watching on YouTube, once again, you do not have to change your channel. NALCS is going to be starting right now at twitch.tv/Riot Games. We're going to take a short break. Meet us back here in 3.5 for G2 versus Splyce, the battle for the bye.
EULCS channel.